Destiny was one of my first fully online games. I didn't even have my own Xbox at the time when I started, so I wasn't even on long enough to make friends most of the time. Even though I was missing out on most of the point of the game, and I didn't even get to try out raid-like content until House of Wolves, I was still drawn to the game up until the soft cap of solo content at the time. The original Destiny wasn't perfect, far from it. The game was plagued with every issue you remember from the time, odd balancing, and broken promises from a developer we all trusted. Even with that, there was something to it. Something underneath it which brought people back to play it again and again. And eventually, they did it. They fixed most of the problems people had with the game. That strange charm it had was able to shine through fully with waves and waves of content, with a whole legion of friends, new and old, I could play with to do anything I could imagine in a world I would gladly spend my entire day doing something but living in it. Destiny 2 had that for a time. It brought me back each month to reach soft cap. I did the same raids with the same friends like we just did for years before. For a time, I even thought the base game's campaign was finally good, something the original Destiny just didn't have until DLCs started coming out. After a while though, something just stopped clicking. It stopped being a world I wanted to live in. It felt more plastic, manufactured. Instead of a large landscape I wanted to memorize and explore, it started to become quest markers and objectives, a chore to complete, part of a routine, just something I had to do every week to month. I don't even really know what happened. The world still looks beautiful, there are still locales I like to look at, but something was just lost. Maybe it was the soul of the game. Something promised to be so much bigger that wasn't. And then the hardship to make it the game we were promised, maybe the journey to remake the original Destiny gave it something Destiny 2 lacks, an element which makes it feel more personal. Eventually, I wasn't pulled back into Destiny 2. I stopped grinding to reach the soft cap of power that I felt so excited to before. Slowly, my friends stopped playing too. Maybe we'd occasionally get on to see the new content, but the gaps when we played just got bigger and bigger. Then I stopped getting on, and my friends would sometimes ask if I wanted to, but I just didn't want to. There wasn't anything for me to go back to. And now I don't think I'll ever get on again. This was a statement from my friend Josh, one of the members of what we call the OG Fire Team, and our group's raid leader. If you've been around the channel for a little bit, you may have seen him cameo in a Destiny 2 addiction video. Look man, just download the game. It's fun. It's fun. Just download the game. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Please just download the game.
Absolutely not.
He lived and breathed Destiny for so long, but he won't touch the game. And hey, I understand why. Destiny 1 was one of my favorite games, and in all honesty, is probably rounding out my top 10 games ever. It consumed my life for about 2 years, and I have so many great memories on it. I love it so much that I wanted to make a video about it to go back onto Destiny 1. However, it's glitched, at least the digital version, so you actually need the disc to play it, and I don't have that. You're given this weird trial thing that doesn't actually start, at least for me. So I went to the next best thing. I went to Destiny 2, a game I have played and loved and hated multiple times over. I first downloaded Destiny 1 on a complete whim. My friend Ron just started getting into it, and my friend Josh, who is an avid Destiny player, was showing him the ropes and said, hey, why don't I also get the game? I used to play it back on the 360, you know, so I downloaded the trial and bought the game, I'd say, maybe a day later. It was exactly what I wanted. And I have so many memories in that game, my first raid, PvP nights, and having late night conversations with the boys. And when I sat down and logged into Destiny 2, I realized I didn't have those memories. The highlight or lowlight of our group's Destiny 2 playthrough was my friend Joe leaving in the middle of a raid to go buy a bird that wasn't even his. That's the one memory I got, and I don't know why it feels like that. And that's weird because I've played Destiny 2 since the beta. I pulled an all-nighter and played Destiny 2 when it first launched at midnight on a school night. We played all of the DLCs, we did all of the strikes, and although we never truly completed a raid, we still got most of the Destiny 2 experience. But it was different than Destiny 1, and I think I'm starting to understand why. I got back into Destiny at the very tail end of the Taken King, literally like a week before Rise of Iron came out. There was a well of things to do leading up to that last DLC, and for me, Josh led me through every single little piece of content there was, and he was happy to do it because it allowed me to grow with the game that grew as each expansion came out. And when we finished Rise of Iron, I was a vetted player and self-claimed second best member of our fire team, although no one would admit it. But that was the end. There was no other DLCs, there were no story missions, no more raids. Age of Triumphs came out and brought a lot of new stuff in, but besides that, there were no real changes to the game. What we had is what we had, and we excelled in it. I think that's what made Destiny 1 so fun. It was a simple game that got more complex if you wanted it to, with an official endpoint. I could use the same scout rifle that I got during the Taken King in the Wrath of the Machine. Although I loved playing Destiny 2 for a few weeks when Lightfall came out, I feel like our best moments on Destiny 2 was the launch, when everything was brand new, when everything wasn't being constantly changed and fixed and updated and removed, when the game was simple. Now, being a complex game it's not a bad thing. But at least for me, Destiny 1 will always be nostalgic, and Destiny 2 will always just be a game I play if I just want to fight some aliens with superpowers. Games nowadays are so focused on being fair that sometimes they just stop being fun. And although I think Destiny 2 has its fun elements, it's too focused on trying to keep you in the game with bounties and quests as their only way to increase your light level, as opposed to Destiny 1, where the mechanics and everything made you keep playing because even though at some times they were very clunky, they were addicting and perfect for the casual gamer. So while Destiny 1 appealed to the overall gaming space, Destiny 2 narrowed in on the hardcore experience, and that's a weird thought to think about because they made it free to play. Maybe they were just following in the footsteps of Fortnite and any other game like that, but it typically opens it up to a larger player base, but as much videos have described, it's really just a trial of Destiny. Funnily enough, it's the same type of trial that got me into the game in the first place. But I don't think I would buy this version of Destiny this time around. It's not for me. At least for 50 weeks out of the year. Because the only reason I had so much enjoyment playing Destiny a few months ago was because my buddy Joe had all of the expansions. I had all of the content to play. I had so much to do, so much to catch up on. I couldn't imagine what the free-to-play experience is like, because when I got into that Destiny mood, it's always going to be a fun time. Because I still love this series so much. I just kind of wish it was Destiny 3 by now. I don't know. I don't know if that's an unpopular statement, but I don't want to spend $300 on every single expansion. I'd rather just have a brand new experience with my buddies and fight some aliens. That's what Bungie has done best since 2001. So yeah, it's kind of why I feel Destiny is different now. At least for me, and at least for Josh. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, maybe consider checking out some of my other stuff. Thank you so much.